All right, what is up, my people? Back again for another review. It is Friday, guys, and I'm here to review the latest episode of Spartacus, House of Ashur. This is episode 7, I believe, entitled Deepest Wound. Now, before I get into all that, guys, I got to give my before I give my score, I have to give some praise and respect for those of you that have been super active in the comments. And like I said, I am sorry if I'm forgetting some names, but I just want to take down a few names that I saw in the comments. And I'm putting you guys on the screen here. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And those of you that I've forgotten, look, I try to respond to everybody. And like I said, you're not going unnoticed. If I happen to miss your name on this time, I apologize. I will get you on the next time. But salute to you guys, all that have been in the comments. And of course, salute to the ones here on the screen. But I just wanted to give a little appreciation to you guys because, like I say at the end of the video, it doesn't matter if it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, or the whole damn video. Guys, I appreciate you. So just want to get that out of the way and let you guys know that I do appreciate you guys. So let's talk about this episode. So, let's start with the score. So, guys, if you're new to the channel, my scoring system on this channel is 0 to 5, 0 being trash and 5 being a masterpiece. So, what score did I give this episode? I first of all enjoyed it, loved the episode. I gave this one. I gave this one. I was fighting, didn't know which way to go with this one. I gave it a 4. A high 4. I was very close to giving it a 4.5 out of 5. But like I said, it's a good episode. And so with that out of the way, the score out of the way, let's talk about the episode. So the synopsis of this episode is Chorus demands blood and Ashur attempts to sway an enemy to his cause. So let's go ahead and start with Chorus and of course the situation that happened to him. And we immediately pick up with Chorus's discovery of the death, the murder, the butchering of Operator. And he's not taking it very well. He is not taking it very well, folks. He is literally turned into a crash out because, you know, he was supposed to go into the sunset. This was his love of his life, and they were going to go into the sunset and just grow old together. I guess Operator would grow old and Chorus would just grow older, but they were going to leave. Ashur even gave him the okay, like he was cool with it to let him go. And then he discovers that the Operator was taken out. Now, during this discovery, initially, it had all the signs of the Cilician pirates. That, you know, there was a medallion that the Cilicians had. And so, of course, with Cilician pirates being involved, well, we know Caesar would have something to do that, or we think Caesar would have something to do with that. So, of course, Ashur goes to confront Cornelia about the situation at hand. You know, he's like, your husband was responsible for the attack. He used the Cilicians. What do we have here? We have a Cilician attack once again. And, you know, Cornelia denies it, says, you know, my husband had nothing to do with that. And then Ashur flips it on her and says, well, maybe it wasn't the husband, and looks at her. Maybe it's you. And of course, there's some back and forth. And Ashur, when retelling the story, puts 2 and 2 together, that figures out that it was Proclus that did it. And that's what I said in my last video. I said, Ashur, he was talking his shit, being all arrogant, and Proclus would put 2 and 2 together. That's who took him out. Well, and we saw what happened. And so it's all coming together for Ashur. But the thing about it is he doesn't want to move on him without proof. And of course, Chorus ain't trying to hear that. Like I said, Chorus, man, he is crashing out to the point where he's trying to go talk to Cornelia, to the point where he's attacking the Roman guards, to the point where Calidus and the other gladiators have to restrain him. And he ends up getting knocked out. He's placed in chains. There's a back and forth between him and Ashur, and they agree to work together. You know, your word, my hands, your word. And so they're going to work together to, you know, get Proclus, you know, so they're going to work together to do that. So, with that happening, something else that was discovered. I don't know about you guys. I didn't know Kasudia and Operator were that close. Like, they are part of the upper crust or the elites, and they run together. But half those elites, they don't even like each other. They just deal with each other. But I thought maybe, she just would occasionally go over there and they would just sit around and be a couple chatty patties and, she get her box eaten out. I thought that was it. But we find out that she had mad love for Operator and they wanted to host some games in his honor. But Gabinius was like, he wasn't trying to hear all that. He's like, man, best I'll do for you, he dropped the old Pawn Stars on her. Best I can do for you is during the auction for his stuff, I'll say some pleasantries about him. But outside of that, that's the best he's gonna get, and he kept it moving. And so we have, like I said, Kasudia is just heated. So we go back to Ashur, coming to Cornelia basically with a proposal explaining the situation. Like, yo, I was supposed to get that Ludus. Chorus and Operator were supposed to go. I was supposed to get it right off the books. I don't have the funds for it, but someone from your station, it will, it won't take that much. And he tells her, I'm 25,000 denarii, and she's like, yeah, that ain't nothing for us. That ain't nothing for us. And so he also sweetens the deal by saying he will help Gabinius come around to their friend Quintus, which we know that's not what's going on here. But it's sort of a lie. Like he said, hey, if he listens to me, I'll sway him. In which we know in the previous episode that's not what happened. It was the opposite of what happened. So we get to the auction. And of course, Proclus and Ashur, they're going back and forth. It's a dick measuring contest. These guys are going back and forth. Also, at some point before, we have Viridia come over. And of course, Ashur, the googly eyes, this and that. Kasudia ain't having that, takes her away. And so as Ashur, once again, feeling himself, he's going to, it's getting up to 20,000 denarii. And it gets to 21,000. And then Ashur goes even higher. Or no, Ashur goes to 21. That's where we stop. And Proclus is like, I can't do it. It's too much for some bullshit I ain't gonna pay for. And so Ashur's feeling himself. And when they ask for the bill, you gonna be able to pay for this? He said, you know what? Put it on House of Caesar's tab. And, he's smiling. That's the one thing Nick Terabay, he's got that fucking cheese-eating grin, Kool-Aid smile from ear to ear, baby. And and of course, Cornelia, what he doesn't see is Cornelia has a side conversation with Kasudia. And she's like, hey, I hear things might be going with, your daughter and Quintus. And she's just like, my husband turned down the offer. So right then and there, Cornelia knows this motherfucker is full of shit. And so when he's getting ready, when they're about to do she stops him, goes, whoa, ho, ho. The House of Caesar, we ain't paying for this. So it goes to, it ends up going to Proclus. And of course, he's loving it. And you just see Ashur's heart sink in his stomach. But he's got one last card to play that we see. And that is where I got it wrong in my preview video, where I thought he was going to bring Cornelia around to his cause, which the episode, it started that way. It was actually Kasudia, because the proof that Proclus, and I forgot to mention this, but the proof that Proclus was responsible for Operator's death is there was a medallion or a necklace that Chorus, he recognized. And so there's a little bit of a conversation that we hear, basically Ashur telling them he suspects that Proclus was responsible and he's going to work on the proof or whatever. But he's basically telling them, this motherfucker over here, he did it. Him and them little ass midgets over there, they did it. And so there's a brief conversation between Proclus and Kasudia in an alley. Because at first she's like, hey, I need to holler at you. And basically said, if you don't, you may forfeit your life. So he goes up in the alley. They get to talking. And, the accusations come up. She said, the Syrian gave me some information that you may be responsible for my homeboy, Opiter's death. What say you? And of course, he's like, we doing some double talk. And she basically says, look, the Syrian, he's a thorn in my side. I don't like how he's looking at my daughter. I want him out of here. I want him gone. I want this annoyance gone. Like, basically, tailoring to what Proclus wants. Basically saying, because he's giving her the side eye. And she's like, look, my daughter, I have mad love for Opiter, but my daughter's love and that nasty ass Syrian slithering his way on my daughter, that takes precedence. So then that brings Proclus around. He's like, you know what? I don't like that motherfucker too. So, I could take care of that for you. So let's do it. And she says, all right, I'm going to go to the Syrian. I'm going to go to Ashur and I'm going to give him some misinformation and you be ready to act. And so, of course, Ashur, he's in the little arena. He's like Edile, he's looking for Gabinius in the Edile because that was the whole scam. Like they were going to have a meeting, but the guise of it is Gabinius and the Edile didn't want to be seen in public with Ashur, which is something that's believable. But they get in the arena, and of course, it's the brothers Ferox in there, and then a couple of other cronies from the house of Proclus, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good for Ashur. And once all their people come in, Ashur begins to grin, and that's when the jig is up. Him and Kasudia was a double agent, and so of course his boys come out and they ready to get busy, and then out of nowhere, Chorus comes down and goes, "No, I got this." And Ashur's like, "Cool. Hey, don't let anybody out of the arena." So his boys surround the arena so none of the people from House Proclus could get out. And it's on. And I mean, my man Chorus comes in and he just, because before he takes on the brothers Ferox, there's like two or three other gladiators, might as well call them red shirts, took their asses out in a single breath. And then he's getting busy with the brothers Ferox. Guys, am I the only one? Am I the only one? I know this shit was supposed to be serious, but I was laughing my fucking black ass off watching Chorus beat the shit out of those little people. I mean, the way they move, like I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to laugh at them, but the shit was funny. The shit was funny to me. And I know it was meant to be serious. And he fucked them little dudes up. Like he took, which I'm assuming he looked like baby brother. Or no, was it baby brother? I think, well, they all probably born at the same time. But the one who looked the young, middle brother. I'm calling him middle brother. Fucking stuck his ass on a fucking stake in the wall. And then he took baby brother, brained him, smashed his face up against the wall, just destroyed his face. And then the other one, the one with the long hair that's always talking shit, he fucked him up and actually kept him alive and said, run back to your boy and tell him we taking out y'all's whole house. Go tell him. And he let him go. Ashur's like, man, I can't believe you did that. And he said, I'm not like you. And Ashur's like, thank the gods you're not. And they solidify. And he's like, you're the Doctori now. It's like on Juice. You got the juice now. But anyway, if you know, you know. But anyway, for me, this made my heart sink because I'm telling you, I think this Kelidus is dead. Because at first I was like, maybe I'm wrong. He's going to be the new Doctori. But once he took back the reins of the Doctori, that's why I'm like, man, my man Kelidus is gone, man. He going to die. He going to die. So, speaking of Kelidus, let's make our way back to the house. The champion, Aquila. She's up and run. A little too early though. But she comes back and the boys pay her respect. Of course, Tokron's hating ass. And I think his name is Etros or Etro. I got to get these fucking names right. But you know who I'm talking about. Him and his boy, they ain't showing no love to her. They just talking shit. So she goes out there And I guess they're gonna set her up with a little warm up. And she like, no, I want the champion. Tarkron's like, say less. And they get out there and he dismantles her. The thing is, her hand's it's not fully healed. And so they go a little back and forth, and he just lets some force on that hand and fucking kicks her ass, knocks her ass on the ground. He drops his shit and is like, oh, done, and walks off. So she's not ready. And like I said, this is a lot similar to when Crixus came back after they fought Theophilus or whatever and Blood and Sand, when Spartacus became champion and Crixus tried to come back and he just wasn't ready. He took a beat and then got embarrassed. And so Aquila, she got embarrassed. Of course, Calidus goes to talk to her and she's flying off the handle, oh, you helping him, this and that and the other. And he's trying to tell her, like, look, that hand of yours, you can't use this style no more. We got to get you a new style. And they start going through the different styles. And he suggests the Heplot style with the spear and the tiny shield, Barca style from Blood and Sand. And for her, that's triggering, because the last time she had a spear in her hand, which we still don't know who that girl was, if it was her sister, daughter, but it was somebody close to her she accidentally killed. So she wants nothing to do with the spear. She's like, hell no. So they go back out again, and she's ready for the rematch. She's training over. She's still trying to do two swords. She's hitting the stake, and she drops it. It's similar to Agron in War of Dam, where he couldn't grip a blade. And so finally, Tacron and them, they like, you can't even you can't even beat the inanimate object. So of course, and kudos to Aquila. She said, fuck it, give me the shield. Give me the motherfucking shield. So she gets the shield, and man, they going at it. And she is whooping his ass. And as she's doing it, we're getting kind of the recreation of the flashback scene with her and her village, and she's doing the same moves, getting in that. She is fucking Tarkron up. He don't know what to do. The man is bleeding from his mouth. And as she's getting ready to win the fight, she pulls the spear back and she starts to get that vision of when she threw the spear, she froze up. And Takron, he took her ass apart to the point where he's about to knock her fucking head in. And before he could do it, of course, Calidus stepped in, stopped him. And if earlier in the episode, he requested his father ask for a favor for him, as he's the champion, he has special needs and he gets special attention and privileges. And so we find out, it's not revealed to us, but we later find out after this fight that it was old girl, the little prostitute or whatever that he's in love with. He's having he gets to have a session with her. And so, they're having a session or whatever. And something about that session, it really makes you start to think that the rebellion, if we're going to get it, it may come from Takron, because he starts talking about, I'm going to win my freedom and my goal is going to be to get you free. Now, let me make a prediction right now. I think that girl, she's going to die. Like, and that's going to fuck him up. That's going to fuck his world up. But like, I think she's going to die or get hurt some way. And that's what's going, like I said, that's what's going to take him over the edge. Also, and his father Calidus dying. I mean, I think he's going to die for sure. I'm 50-50 on the girl. She's going to die. But that could be another thing that's just the straw that breaks the camel's back and may get him in active to, want to go to war or whatever, and start this whole thing about rebellion. It kind of whispers of rebellion, because you hear it throughout the episode. Like when the little guy, the one with the long hair, when Chorus is like, you killed Opiter and started going in on him, he says, I'm only doing what my master told me, and like basically like, and if you think about it, he didn't have a choice. What's he going to tell Proclus? No. And you know what could happen? He could get sent to the mines if those things are still going from Spartacus, or worse. You can't tell your Dominus no. And so, like I said, you're hearing like bits and bits of things that could probably get the rebellion going. But Yeah, that's basically it, guys. That, as far as my review goes, like I said, all in all, great episode. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, like I said, I understand the comment section. It's going to be, and for the most part, you guys are great in there. We got great conversation, great things going. Uh, there's been a couple negatives that come in there, here and there, but that just comes with this territory. But I do like, for the most part, everybody has been very positive, and even if we don't agree about things, that's what I like about it. The discourse that we have in the comment section. So we need to keep it going. And so let me go ahead and get out of here, guys, because I wanted to keep this at 15 minutes, but I'm at 20 right now. So, with that being said, everybody, if it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, or the whole damn video, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to view my content. If you haven't already, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe, smash that like, and get in the comments like you guys do. And I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.